pricing.
Really?
So, yeah, if I knew better, I would have made a lot more money back then. But I got lucky. That's kind of where I started. So, I mean, I ramped up. I mean, straight out the bat.
So for everybody that's watching, we got more people. Scott Westra, Ryan Bumpus, Michael Stringer, Josh Swisher. What's up, Josh Swisher? Just talked to you a few minutes ago. Matt Andrews, Warren Watts is watching. So for everybody that's just coming on, we got John Dye. He plugged in here. For everybody that's watching, Mark Reitzel just went through a nor'easter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out and visits customers, and basically his philosophy has been he tackles every lead, every repair, every small little thing. He's tackled it. And as those people have come to need new roofs, he doesn't even deal with competition anymore. He just goes in. They already trust him. He's already got a customer doing high margin deals. Would that be fair to say, Mark?
That's fair to say, yes.
Yep. Any downside?
Very high margin for sure.
Is there any downside to doing it that way, to buying your customers through repairs?
You are a lot busier, and you are going to a lot more appointments. So, I mean, it does cost you a lot of time because, I mean, like today, I'm going to have 8 appointments. I still got another one to go to when I'm done where I'm at. So, yeah, it's busy. And then it's a lot more juggling because then you have to have the crews that can actually do the work too. So, you know, I don't see my sub crew anymore that does the full roofs because I just send a work order and it's done. But, you know, for these repairs, we got to use company cam and go over the pictures and explain everything and read the work order. And then they got to ask the questions about what's going on. And then I got to make sure they do it right. Not that I have guys out there I don't trust, but sometimes it's hard to understand exactly what the repair is.
So are you your own quality control guy?
I'm not good enough at it, but yeah, I'm my own quality control guy. So the thing is, stuff does slip by us.
Sweet.
But luckily, we have the company cam, so I can sit down and look at it. And I just had to fire a guy 2 weeks ago because he's done the wrong valley. He changed the wrong vent. He changed the wrong pipe collar because he wasn't actually reading the work orders and didn't call and ask questions. But at least we could check and see that stuff was wrong or right. And then we went back and made the corrections that we needed.
Well, I'm going to take a break here. If you have questions that you want to ask Mark, Jojo, John, Eric, if you guys want to throw in your comments, now would be a good time. But throw your comments or your questions in the group here, and I'll get to them. Let's talk about that company cam. Anybody got anything bad to say about company cam?
Never used them.
Never used them. Who's saying that?
No, but I know John's a big proponent of company cam, so he probably has more insight than anyone else.
Yeah, you definitely. It'll save you. It'll save you a lot. And it's we all take pictures, but it gives you better access and quicker access to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one 2 weeks ago. The lady didn't want to pay and said we messed up her gutters, but we had pictures from prior. We didn't have to dig out the pictures. My project manager scrolled through, clicked company cam, clicked her name, pulled it up and said, look, here's right here. Here's the timestamp dated picture.
Does company cam link in with any CRM system?
It links in with just about every single one of them. And then if they don't, you can ask them. They'll probably add that CRM. But you name the most well-known roofing CRMs, they're going to tie into it.
John, what do you know?
Well, I mean, I'm a huge company cam guy, and I know Jojo, you're an AccuLynx guy, and so company cam does not actually integrate with AccuLynx real nicely. It does integrate really well with Job Nimbus and everything else, but Giddy Up, all the other, I mean, there's a new one that's Giddy Up. I just was researching it today, but it's, in my mind, the reason why it's so valuable is because people actually use it. You know, Mike, you talk about CRMs all the time, and you say a CRM is only as valuable as people actually using the CRM. Otherwise, it's just another piece of software that no one's touching. Company cam being as easy as it is to use, I find myself playing with it because it's such a cool app. It's the before and afters, the marketing stuff that you can do with it. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but you can do like a ghosted image. So essentially you take your before photos and you go back out there to the same house, pick that picture, use it as your before, and you can take the exact same photo with the new roof on it, and it ghosts the house in so that it matches up perfectly and creates this really cool split before and after with your logo on it that you can then send to your customer. I mean, the way that you can share the information with your client in real time with just that one little link, you send them a link and it creates a thing that you can turn it on and off. So you can turn the link on so they can watch the progress through the day. So if they're at work, they want to see what's happening, they could watch it, and then you just turn it off and automatically they don't get access to it. That's just between, and then the other side of it too is the communication tool, that what it does with your internal people and taking photos. And I don't know, I hated digging through text messages to try to find photos from my crews. That was the worst thing. And with Company Cam, I actually have the crews using it, which makes it a lot easier. So, I mean, it just depends. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I like it. I think it's a powerful, powerful tool for taking photos and documenting jobs.
Okay, we got some comments here, guys. Let's see what the people say. Mike Stinnett says, the key is to understand the scope to make money on repairs. That's true, right, Mark? If you don't get the scope right, you can't make any money. Josh Swisher says, I love Company Cam. I got turned on to it from John Dye at his supplement workshop. Eric, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm out here. Yes, sir. What's going on?
Eric,
Can y'all hear me?
I hear you. Everybody hears you, man. You're coming through loud and clear, brother.
Awesome.
Are you using Company Cam?
No, we use AccuLinks, and there's an edit tool in there. So all our guys, all my sales staff is on AccuLinks, so they upload into that, and it's got an app that ties in. So just never jumped into Company Cam. Just one more thing to train guys to use. Like I said, we seem to do okay with AccuLinks, but the marketing feature sounds pretty cool. That's definitely interesting, certainly.
Yeah, that intrigued me when John was talking about that you could send a link to your customer. As long as you have somebody taking pictures during the day so they can see the progress of what's going on, that would be cool.
Yeah, certainly. And we do have guys out doing that, so maybe something to research for sure. All
right. Hey, Mark, let's get back to you, buddy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, for a second. We're back driving the truck. But real quick, I don't know if John mentioned it. Supplementing with Company Cam, dude. You can click edit on these pictures. You can show how many layers it is. You can show that it has drip edge. You can show that it has the ridge caps. You can show the pipes. So, I mean, it makes supplementing so much easier that they can't argue with those things. And every time they're going to say, oh, it's too big of a file. So they can't click on the file. And then some of them won't click on the link. But you can create a PDF report right out of it. And so when you send in your supplements, I mean, it's really simple.
All right. New topic.
Yeah.
New topic. Jojo, let's talk to you, brother.
What's going on? What do you got for me?
I want to know what's happening today, man. Fresh hailstorm in Texas. What does the day look like?
We had a company meeting, 8 a.m., got everybody some maps, got everybody a game plan together, and then sent out probably 10 guys this morning to an area we thought was pretty promising. As most people probably know that have either hail trace or hail recon, these maps are never exact. They're out there locating the damage, finding the best areas. A couple of my guys we just opened the Rockwall location, as you know. So got a couple of guys that got some referrals out in Mansfield, I think it is. And they haven't even had a chance to knock doors. It has literally just been all day, getting off one roof, neighbor walking up, getting them. And they've just been rolling all day and been on roofs all day long. So those guys are out there killing it, and it's just been a busy one. Lots of calls coming in. We had a lot of rain. Unfortunately, I had a leak on a flat roof that I did last week. Really windy last night, and when they did the plumbing for the drains, they never used anything to fasten them. to hold them up there. So they were wiggling around and one of the drains came loose. So I had to deal with that. But all's well that ends well. They're good. And I think I got another referral for another roof out of them. So guess you got to make the best out of a poor situation.
Lemonade. Jojo, how important is it? I want to ask you and Eric both. How important is it to get how important is the jump after the storm? How important is it to get those guys out there?
In my mind, it's extremely important. I think they say that the company that puts up the first roof, 80% of the remaining roofs in the neighborhood. So just getting a yard sign up to if they get home from work tonight, they're already seeing the companies have been by to take care of their neighbors. And then just we have crews available to us. So if we can get an insurance to pass a roof by next week, we'll start that roof with a deductible and no first check just to get the roof up in the neighborhood and let people know we're here. We mean business. We're going to get it done. And then that just rolls on with referrals, and the guys that are out there are really strong salesmen. So I know that if they can get out there quickly, they'll take over a neighborhood before any other salesmen get in there and have a chance to, offer free TVs or eat deductibles, or upgrade them to class 4s, anything like that.
Yeah. Eric, what's the secret to getting your guys out after a storm?
Well, definitely having a game plan, a plan of action, and setting them on the ground, where the damage is, because nobody remembers anybody that's not first, right? The first one is always remembered. Matter of fact, we had our company meeting last year, had a big meeting about being first, and everybody remembers the first president, right? But nobody remembers who the 22nd president is for the most part, right? So being first is vital, and everything that's good goes to those who show up first, for sure.
You ain't first, you're last.
That's right. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. Somebody put in the Facebook group who the 22nd president was without looking it up on Google.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Do you know who it was? The 22nd one? The 22nd guy to knock on the door? Who's the 22nd president? I'm just seeing if anybody here knows who the 22nd president was.
I don't know.
Okay, let's play a game. The first president is George Washington. Who's number 2?
I can tell you.
Number 2, Mark. Come on, man. You're closest.
Thomas Jefferson?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I feel like that sounds right.
Bad as that sounds.
How about number 3? Anybody know the third guy that knocked on the door?
Lincoln. No, that's the point. Nobody knows yet.
Nobody knows.
I know number 16. I got 16 down. Rodney says it's Harrison. Warren Watts says it's Cleveland. Rodney says it's Cleveland. It must be Cleveland. Somebody look it up. Who's the second president of the United States?
John Adams.
John Adams. John Adams.
I'm in Virginia. I should know this stuff.
Yeah, you should, man. It's all right, Mark. You're probably okay. All right. So we got a hailstorm. What's the key to getting the guys out in the field quickly? What is the key?
You always got to have a game plan. That comes with just a typical training, but getting out here early with everybody and designating them areas to hit, because otherwise everyone's going to run around with like a chicken with their head cut off and step on each other's toes and not know that one guy had already knocked the door. So they already kind of know their roles and their plans, but coming early in the morning, getting a game plan and sending them out as a unit. So when we sent them out this morning, there was between 2 trucks, there was about 10 guys. So you can really hit a neighborhood pretty quickly, as opposed to one guy going to this neighborhood, one going to this neighborhood, and them all splitting up. I'd rather have them all go dominate a neighborhood and then go to the next neighborhood and dominate that neighborhood.
Mark, what does a retail guy know about working customers that storm chasers don't know?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I have to think about that one. Customers. I mean, the main thing is we don't try to get in and get, well, we do want to get in and get out, but we're not a one and done. We want to gain those people for life, so that siding, windows, gutters, like whatever is coming up in the future. We do really good with this project now, whether it be the roof or the siding or whatever it is, then they'll call us for the next one. And And then a lot of times it's on the same cycle or close to the same cycle that if they just had a roof done, I mean, windows are going to be soon, and then siding's going to be not far behind that, or they might want their trim wrapped or something. But and
do you know what an average customer is worth to you, Mark?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I know I should, but I don't know.
What percentage of your customers buy more than a roof from you?
A lot. Most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen unless you keep the relationship strong.
Yeah.
How do you keep the relationship strong? I mean, do you do the roof and walk away and don't talk to them again? And then the next time you need to do something, how do you keep the relationship strong?
Yeah. So I'm bad about that. We try to leave, we leave a lasting impression that, and try to leave extra business cards and whatnot and tell them what we do. But then, yeah, I mean, other than the typical, we have a little bit of marketing going on. They might see our name again, but here's my biggest one right here. I mean, that's the key right there. They see these trucks around town too, and then they remember, oh yeah, I remember Mark. We're ready to do that siding. Let me call them. But no, we're bad. We don't call and follow up or mail like we should.
So everybody here wraps their truck. Or John, when you were in the game with Walterson, you had your truck wrapped. Jojo, I remember when we first started working together, I was like, don't worry about wrapping the trucks.
Yeah.
We can get our customers another way. And we did. We figured out other ways, but you guys wrapped the trucks anyway.
Yeah, we went ahead and wrapped them anyways, but.
And I know Eric has his wrapped. I mean, how many jobs do you guys think you get off of your trucks being wrapped?
It's a hard number to put an exact thing on because it's just one of the many things that bring you top of mind awareness. But when I was in the office answering the phones, I mean, obviously I'm not doing that anymore, but I can tell you how many people say, I'm calling you now, but I've seen your trucks everywhere around town. Mm-hmm. It's just a thing where we have 15, 20 wrapped trucks plus trailers going around town. People, it's just constantly on their mind, whether they even see it or not. They just think they do because they've seen it on Facebook. They've seen it in live, in person, when we're doing roofs. I'd say it probably equates to 20 to 30 roofs a year. I mean, somewhere around there.
Very respectable. Eric, what are your thoughts on the truck wrap and how effective that is for your marketing?
I can count, on one hand this last year, how many people have just walked up and mentioned something about the truck and obviously started a conversation about what their needs are, and then obviously assign them to someone. It turns into business for us. That's just over the last year. But like JoJo says, I think it's a lot of it's buying that mind share, when they hear it so many times, they see it so many times. I've gotten random referrals for people that, people will say, well, so-and-so plumbing recommended you guys. And I'll be like, I don't even know who that is. You know what I mean? I don't know who recommended it, but that's great. I mean, super. So, people, I think it's just from when they hear it, they see it enough, they think they know you. It is almost like a referral.
Yeah.
When you have that much, when you buy that much mind share. So,
I would say to kind of add to that, having a wrap truck when you're at a contractor's building supply place. I know several of my guys have had people walk up to them and say, I didn't know you did gutters. We actually are wrapping up an $80,000 gutter job on a 4-story building because of a truck wrap at a contractor supply house where a general contractor walked up and said, I didn't know you guys did gutters. Can I get an estimate? And it ended up being an $80,000 gutter job. So,
nice.
That'll pay for a few wraps.
Yeah, it'll pay for one or two.
Do you guys pay for your guys' wraps, or do you make them pay for their wraps? Or do you run company trucks that you wrap?
Mine are all company trucks that are wrapped.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I run company vehicles. Yeah, we own them all.
So you wrap them?
We wrap the individuals' trucks if they want them. Our guys has become kind of a culture status symbol. To have one of the trucks that people see around town, and then we've kind of let them play with the color variations a little bit. They all still revolve around our main color scheme, but flipping colors around, like I'm sure you've seen Brandon's stealth black truck. And so we let them kind of play with the variations a little bit. That instills a little pride in them, and it just gives them a little more confidence. So most of our wrap trucks are actually the individual's trucks, but they want them wrapped just for recognition.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to a really successful roofing contractor, and he was telling me that the reason why they do it is not to generate the leads, although the leads do come in. And it's not to be known in the neighborhood, because, you know, people will walk up to your vehicle, or at the gas station, they will walk up to you and talk to you. Says the reason why he does his trucks like that is because of what it does to the salesperson. It makes them feel a sense of pride, a part of the culture. It empowers them and gives them a sense of being important, like they're part of something that's bigger than them. And for a roofing company owner, you know, one of the 6 power tools is the culture that you build. And if, you know, when I got started in the business, I ran around with a magnet on the side of my Chrysler 5th Avenue, and I was proud as heck of that. But as the business has evolved, you know, more and more you're seeing guys with full wraps, or, you know, lots of vinyl on their truck. And it's all, I think it does more for the salesperson than it does for the company, actually. Just my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I mean, the first time Brandon went out with his truck wrap, he said, he was like, I got on the first door that I knocked on with my truck wrap. And the two things may or may not be correlated, but in his mind they were. And if it's going to help him confidence-wise to get on more roofs, then ultimately it will help the company. But it was a mindset thing that I think it helps a lot of the guys with.
In my training, I often talk about the number one priority, number one responsibility of all roofing company owners is to manage the momentum of their business. If you're not in control of the momentum of your business, that means you're not in control of your business. That means instead of you pushing the big rock down the hill and giving it a tap every once in a while to make sure you know which direction it's going, you're on the other side of the rock as it's coming towards you, and you're going to get flattened. Managing momentum means that you have to instill in your salespeople a belief in your company and your culture and your purpose and why you're doing what you're doing. You know, the hats. I'm wearing the pink Burrell Roofing today. Yeah, the hats are important. I got a black hat. I had to talk JoJo into giving me a black one. He wasn't wanting to give those away. Got my black ASAP hat. You know, the shirts are important. The trucks are important. The events, like the Halloween party we just went to, all those things develop the culture. And when you have the culture developed, then you're in control of the momentum. But if you're not in control of the culture, you don't have control of the momentum. Puts you on the wrong side of the rock. John, you've been quiet for a second. What do you got on your mind, man?
Well, I mean, I know for a fact that those truck wraps make a big difference. And you're right, JoJo. It does help them out with their just the mindset in general. I know my brother works for you guys, and I see how much it means to him. And, you know, I mean, he's a young kid and he's just getting started, and he's like killing it, and he's excited. And yeah, he's got a truck that's got a wrap on it, and it's exciting for him. He likes it. He's prideful of it. And so, I mean, it's just really cool. And it doesn't hurt that it's actually my truck that he's driving. But at least I know he's keeping it clean because of that wrap. So, you know, I appreciate it.
You had to throw your brother under the bus.
I can't help it.
Good gosh.
No, he's doing really good, and he's really happy about it. So I appreciate that a lot, that, you know, what you guys are doing with him. But no, it's huge. So I definitely see the merit in it. Makes a lot of sense.
I want to talk about something else, talking about culture, one of the 6 power tools that I address quite often with my RCO Elite clients, and that is training and onboarding. Mark, this is something we've had a few discussions about in the past. Let's hear your thoughts on the quickest way to train somebody and get them onboarded. Mark, I'll start with you.
Man, you know, I'm new at that I'm with a guy right now that I'm trying to onboard and train, that I don't have an exact process for it. But the main thing that I've tried to do was take as much as possible out of my head and put it into these CRMs, and to have the process completely laid out. So then my training is trying to teach them, I'm not going to teach them how to sell, but I'm going to teach them like my way. How do I do it? How do I go to these people? Show them what's going on or whatnot. I like, for me, like, we're not quote unquote salesmen doing so many leak stuff that they kind of just want a professional who's going to give them a solution. And then when we get an objection, that's when our sales even start, because a lot of these times we don't even get an objection.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you can fix my problem? Okay, cool. So for me, I'm learning still how to onboard and how to train. And that's some of the reasons I've talked to you before about exactly how to do some of that stuff too.
Well, Mark, you need to jump in the RCO growth kit and let me work with you more in depth.
I know. I'm going to stay out here. Good.
All right. Eric, what are your thoughts? Onboarding, training.
Yeah, it's crucial, obviously, to us. I mean, it's getting guys in the classroom, spending some time actually sitting down and showing them our processes and procedures so that they have an understanding. I mean, I guess the old contractor's way is get in a truck with this guy and do whatever he does, right?
Right.
That doesn't get you very far very fast, obviously. So we've had great success bringing guys in, spending them typically 2 to 3 weeks in the classroom, learning the details. We had a plan to start one this morning, but then we had obviously an event last night that kind of threw everything up in the air, as you can imagine. But yeah, I mean, that's crucial. I still have some details I need to get worked out with that, tighten that process up. And I'm in the process of building basically a test house right down the street from our office where we can send guys out to start to scope jobs so they can have an understanding, because we're having a good time cleaning in the classroom, but then they don't know the real life experiences and like how to take the pictures and how to document the loss so that your supplements go easy and everything flows nicely on the back end. So that's the piece we're missing, but we're in the process of having a tester house. We can send guys out and test them on that thing. So I'm excited about that.
That's actually brilliant. Eric, about your 2 or 3 weeks in-house training, is that all taught live in person?
We do that all in person. Yeah, we do all of that. The sales manager gets in there, trains them on the 10-step process. For those that are new to the industry, trains them about roofing, about, starter shingles, how many nails on a shingle, just everything you could imagine that most of the guys on this call probably know well. It's practical, especially when you get guys that don't know anything about the industry to actually come in and learn something about what they're talking about, because obviously people buy from experts, right? They follow the advice of an expert 80% of the time. And if you can portray yourself as that expert, well, you've got a really good shot of persuading that person to do business with you. So we just try to give them a leg up on going out there and feeling like an expert.
Mark, you're flipping many homes in the off season because it's cold, man. It's hard to get on the roofs. Do you bring your guys in that you're training and help them? And do they get in on these flips or what happens?
Yeah, so for my business, I don't try to do too much interior work anymore. But yes, we do use those houses. It is a good place for several different things. The new guys, I'll let them test stuff out for the installers. You know what I mean? I'll let somebody try a drywall patch or put a piece of tile in or something, so that in case we got to do one little thing on a job, so they learn that. But then, yeah, for the sales guys, yeah, let them come over there and scope stuff out.
That's cool. Yeah. John, I'm purposely leaving JoJo till the end. I know that JoJo has worked long and hard on a onboarding system, and I want his comments. But do you have any thoughts on this?
I think that with onboarding, you have to have the end game in mind. And it depends on how you're structuring your company. Obviously, I focus on the supplementing side of things. If you do want to have a supplementing company that's going to be able to essentially not work for free or not do stuff for free, the components, you gotta instill that so that they understand that from the very beginning of the sale, not as an afterthought. That's huge, because most people look at it as, It's just we'll handle it at the end. We'll hopefully have enough pictures. It'll hopefully be okay. It won't be a big deal. But it's really has to be a planned out, systematic. Like, hey, we're going to document this because we're working for insurance companies. We're not working for ourselves, or we're not working on retail jobs. And insurance companies. I just had lunch with one of the biggest companies in Indy today, on a separate meeting. But people don't realize how massive these companies are, and it's almost like we think it's a battle, like we're going to go out there and battle with them to get them to pay us money, when in all reality all it is they just have to have the right justification. They just have to have the right information. And if you're thinking about that from the very beginning, how the burden of proof falls on us. And it sucks because we don't like that analogy that we have to be the ones to carry that torch. We feel like the insurance company should be the ones that are going to do their due diligence, but that's never the case because they're not there to do it. And they're looking at us and how we do things. The typical roofing company doesn't replace all the step flashing. The typical roofing company reuses the drip edge. The typical roofing company does. That didn't sound good. Yeah. So the typical roofing company is not going to do all those things. And so insurance companies, being that they are massive, huge conglomerate companies, are protecting their assets. They're not just going to pay us money because we asked for it. And so instilling these like basic principles of business so that they understand what to do and how to get this stuff paid for. I mean, it makes such a huge difference on the supplementing side, which all goes into onboarding and teaching people how to actually view this stuff and what angle to attack this at. Mm-hmm. So it's a massive deal, but that's a whole other story.
Start with the end in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Jojo, before we get to you, Ron Savage, my good buddy up there, he's just talking about the great things about Company Cam. Michael Deere's watching. What's up, Michael? Aaron Stuckey's watching. Aaron. Tommy Doyle. Tommy Doyle is one of the greatest salespeople I've ever known. When Tommy Doyle got started in the business, he was signing up 8 to 10 people a day for like $50. And he met with me and he said, "Is that good?" And I said, "No, that's terrible, Tommy." Tommy now runs, I think it's ProWay Roofing and Construction. He's the company owner and he teaches people how to be sales dominators. Love me some Tommy. Man, if you ever meet him, Tommy, we got to talk. Patrick Clifford's watching. All right, Jojo, let's continue this conversation about onboarding. Taking somebody that doesn't know anything about the business, putting them into your system, and then getting them to make money for you. This is a real frustration for a lot of people. A lot of company owners have the frustration. You got some insight on it? Something that you'd like to share?
Yeah. We've learned a lot about it over the last couple of years. I would say one of the biggest mistakes that we made early on was not having anything systematic to do it, but also we would take somebody, give them a shot because they were a good person or we thought we could train them to be good. And we would hold on to them for 5 or 6 months with them not producing anything. And we thought, well, maybe if we tweak this or we teach them that, they'll learn and they'll start producing. And then you keep holding on to them and you keep holding on to them. And at the end of the day, you're hurting your company and you're hurting them. They're obviously not succeeding and they're not doing your company any good because they're taking all your time to try to train them to sell 1 or 2 deals in 6 months. And so we really realized that we had to put something in place to alleviate that, to get people through interviews, hired, trained, out selling roofs as quick as possible. It's better for everybody. And that starts with, better processes to see who you're even going to interview, kind of eliminate a lot of the people you would interview before, only interview people that you really think are going to make it. Obviously only hire the best, but we have started implementing a 9-day training program. And the first 3 days are really heavy on learning and coming into the office. I know a lot of people may not know, we have ASAP University where I've spent hundreds of hours filming content, training. So like Eric said, he does it all in a classroom live. Well, they're learning, but it's not live. It's on a virtual training, just like any of those other training platforms out there. And the first 3 days is really heavy. We want to filter anyone that's not committed out in those first 3 days. If you're not going to make it through those first 3 days, you're not going to make it 6 months down the road. And then after those first 3 days, we get them out in the field and we get them learning. And we've noticed a lot of those people that start don't make it through the 9 days, but the people that do make it through the 9 days end up staying for a while. Mm-hmm. So my advice is get the people in and out as quick as possible, because you're going to find out who's going to make you money really quickly. And it may sound cold-hearted or something along those lines, but at the end of the day, we're all in business to make money. We all own roofing companies. We want the people that sell for us to produce. And if they're not producing, like I said, you're only hurting them and you're hurting yourself. They're not going to make money not selling roofs. They're not going to be able to provide for their families. And they're just going to take up our time, our sales managers' time, our production managers' times, if they have so many questions, and they're not going to succeed. So we've really tightened up our training process down to 9 days. It's all set on paper, step by step, and it's helped us filter out a lot of people before they can take our time. Because in all reality, in this market, you're going to go through 80 people before you find one great salesperson. And it seems really low, but at the end of the day, that's the truth of the matter. And I want to find that one great one as quickly as possible, so I can find the next great one, and then they can train someone to be another great salesman under them. So just shortening that time, making it as tight as possible to where if someone's going to fail, make them fail in the first week, so that you're not wasting 6 months on them like we used to do when we first started.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant what you're talking about, because most roofing company owners, in my experience, they're too eager to bring anybody into their office, too eager to bring anybody in, get them in the truck and get them out in the field. And if you're going to scale your company, if you're going to scale your business, you need two things. Number one, you need more volume. And number two, you need a better filter. You have to be great at attracting people. And that comes down to your culture, comes down to your mindset, comes down to your business strategy, the principles that you operate your company by. And then you have to be fantastic at filtering people. If you're doing $1 million a year right now, those of you that have heard me say this before, I sound like I'm a broken record, but if you're doing $1 million a year right now, you're in the top 4% of all companies in the nation. If you're doing $10 million a year right now, you're in the top 0.4%. And roofing company owners don't value their position. They don't value the opportunity they give people. They don't value their time. They don't value their attention. They throw their attention around to anybody. They let anybody walk into their office. They let anybody have their time. They let anybody make them feel guilty about not making them successful. They let anybody move them around. Listen, you're extremely valuable. If you're on this call right now and you're watching this right now, I can promise you, you're undervaluing your opportunity. I have not met one person yet that I've worked with that did not have room to raise their prices on what their value is worth. So, number one, you have to get the flow up, and that comes with improving your culture, improving your law of attraction. These are things we talk about in our training. Number two, you have to do a better job of filtering, and there are ways to do it. But Jojo, I think that the guilt, which is another issue that I deal with in the growth kit, but the guilt of letting people go is too much for company owners. They can't seem to let people go. Why is that?
I mean, we all have hearts, and a lot of us probably started in a position where we were in sales or we were working for someone else, and a lot of us have probably said, man, I wish I just had a chance, or I wish I had a chance to prove myself. And when you're looking at someone that's got a wife or kids or anything, it's hard. It's hard to say, man, you're not going to cut it here. You're not going to make money. You're not going to be able to provide for that wife. And a lot of us have so much pride that we think we can turn someone into that guy, someone that can be that salesman. But are you going to throw your time into someone, or are you going to buy more time and filter them out quicker? Because every year we've grown, I've learned to value my time more and more and more, and done things to buy more time. We hired an office manager, and then we hired someone for supplements, and then we hired someone to do AR. And every year as we grow, we hire more people, and all we're doing by hiring more people is buying more time. Clint used to go on all the repair calls, and then Roy came in and Roy went on the repair calls. And now we have Fernando, and Fernando goes on the repair calls, and now he's got his dad and he's doing the repair. So every year we're just doing things to buy more time. Well, you got to really think about that when you got to look at someone and think, am I going to keep this guy around and keep taking my time or my sales manager's time? Or are we going to let them go where they might find something that they're more successful at? And I think it's a pride thing, plus the fact that, we might have been in that position one day and we're looking back and thinking, well, maybe if this person would have given me a chance, I would have succeeded. Well, maybe not. And that's kind of where we need to walk a thin line and see if it's worth your time to continue down that road.
I think that's the number one mistake most company owners make, is that they're not valuing their time. And when they do have value in their time, they're not buying their time back. They're holding on to people longer than they should. They're giving more than they should in order to help people succeed who have no business in your operation. They have no business being there. They have no business getting your attention. And I think part of that guilt can be eliminated by having better filters up front. The other part of that guilt has to be eliminated knowing that you're not going to go to the next level with the people at this level. The people at this level are happy at this level. They don't want to go to that level. There's more responsibility. There's more work. There's more things to learn at the next level. They're happy at this level. And if you're going to grow, you're going to have to take new people with you, or the people that you have with you right now, they're going to have to develop to the next level. And that's, you're leaving money on the table if you're allowing people to make you feel guilty about not letting them go. John, what are your thoughts on that, buddy?
No, he's absolutely right. You're not doing anybody any favors. At the end of the day, if someone doesn't fit, they just don't fit. And there's been plenty of times personally where, look, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not a great roofing company owner. I wasn't that good at it. Like I wanted to be, but I wasn't. I was good at what I was good at, which was supplementing. I was always good as a supplementer. I've been doing this for 10, 11 years now, since full-time as a supplementer. And then I've always equated hard work and working hard the wrong way. And this was my own flaw as a person. And it's probably because I grew up in a contractor's home and I wasn't a good contractor, and that drove me nuts because I couldn't do what my dad could do. I couldn't do what my grandpa could do. I couldn't do what my uncles could do. I wasn't a good builder, but I was good at what I was good at. But I had to almost I felt like I was trying to prove something. And I finally came to the realization this year where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be good at that. And I'm pushing myself in circles, trying to be good at something. And I equated that to hard work. And what really was hard work was just taking something and being super, super consistent with it and building that is really what hard work really is. It's not about the difficulty of it. It's the actual grind that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And so I've tried to building Art of the Supplement has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life because we started this, Mike, 2 years ago? Jojo, you guys were one of my first clients. There was a few other guys in Texas and some other companies, and I've helped you guys out. But when I finally decided, you know what, I want to do this and I want to try something different, and we started doing the boot camps, and this thing just exploded. We've had, if I count this last week we had 110 people sign up for these events, the GAF events in Fort Collins and Denver. We've had over 400 people come through the boot camps this year.
I think it's a real important point that you're making there, John, is that when you're not good at something or somebody in your organization is not good at something, the best thing you can do is you can let it go.
Absolutely.
You can let them go. You can release yourself from the responsibility of doing that, because the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And if you don't let it go, you never get to the place where you realize, okay, well, this doesn't work, but maybe boot camps would work.
Exactly.
And if I don't let it go, I can't find the boot camps. If Mark doesn't let this guy go that he's frustrated with, then he doesn't get the great player. If you don't go through 10, you can't get to 20. If you don't go through 20 people, you can't get to 40. If you don't go through 40 people, you don't get to 80. And 80, Jojo and I have come to realize this, it's somewhere in the 80 to 100 mark of people that have to come through your organization before you find that one huge superstar. You're never going to find the superstar if you're holding on to the guy that's like calling you when you get home and your wife's saying, why is he always calling you? And how come he's never making you any money? And why are you still holding on to that dude?
I think that brings up another great point I just want to touch on real quick is when you do find the great people and then they see you holding on to these people that are down here,
Yep.
it undervalues your whole organization because they're wondering, why the hell am I sitting here playing right at this level and he's giving the same amount of attention to this guy that's producing 1 roof a month and I'm up here selling 10. They don't see the value in it. It brings down your entire value as an organization.
Right.
People want to hang out with great people. Great people don't want to hang out with the crack roofer that wants to sell 2 a month so he can get his next hit and then just sell 2 the next month. I mean, that's not what they want. They want all the 10 people producing 10, 15 a month. They don't want to play with these guys down here. So it undervalues your whole organization keeping those people around.
Eric, are you still with us? We may have lost Eric. Mark, are you with us, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you hearing what John and JoJo are saying?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
80 to 100 people is a lot. No, but no, I'm with you. Like I agree. I need a better setup.
Eric, are
Especially
you with us?
He said he has.
Yeah, I'm still here. Somehow I got muted, but yes, I'm here. Yeah, no, I can relate to that. Obviously, I suffer from the same strife in some degree. Because if you're truly trying to help people, I mean, you're not helping them by keeping them there if they can't cut the mustard, right? If they can't figure it out, they can't be successful. You're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting them. Which, if you're really about helping people, as you know, I like to, feel like that's important to me, more important than the money. You're really not. You know what I mean?
And failure is not bad.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, people are scared to fail, but failure is not a bad thing. Failure means you tried something and it didn't work. You learned something. That's ultimately what happened. And so that's massive. If people understood that what the reality is of what they're doing and how letting someone go and showing them, hey, look, you're not really that good at this. You're really doing them such a huge favor rather than keeping them somewhere where they're not going to be able to be fruitful. You're holding them back, and time is something you can't ever get back.
Yep, it's true.
Okay, guys, closing thoughts. We're gonna shut this down. I'll start with JoJo, and we'll go around, and then I'll have a last comment. Go, JoJo.
I'm just going to touch on what John just said. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time.
So true.
Make time more valuable.
Good. Mark.
Drawing a blank here.
All right. Eric.
Agree with that. Make the hard decisions, make them quickly. Matter of fact, I wrote that in my morning formula. I will. People can change, but I will be quick to analyze and decide whether or not they're worth changing quickly, and not beat around the bush with that. So, good stuff.
Eric, what's a morning formula?
Morning formula. That's what I eat every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a brainwash. It's self-brainwashing. That's what I liken it to. That's what I call it, and it works, right? I mean, yeah, that's exactly what we want to do: is brainwash ourselves to think where we want to be, set ourselves up where we want to be, and then act, do, and try to get there. Yeah.
John.
No, this has been great, Mike. I'm a huge Gary Vee fan, and he says, hire fast, fire faster. It's the reality of it, man. I mean, he said he never calls references because he's like, who's not going to put the 3 good people on their resume that are going to give them good feedback. So he said, I hire based on feeling and gut, and I give them a shot. And if they don't work out, I fire them as fast as I can because it's not doing anybody else any good. So it's pretty cool. But thank you so much, Mike. This has been awesome.
Yeah. Guys, I want to tell you how much I appreciate everybody coming on. JoJo, we got to do a one-on-one sometime, man, because I've got a lot of stuff to go over with you. But listen, if you lack confidence to grow your company, I want to work with you in the RCO Growth Kit. A lot of people that you've seen me interact with in the past work with me on the RCO Growth Kit. I believe that I can help you scale your company, build your confidence, teach you the routines that will allow you to have systems and processes in place to onboard people, make you a better leader. If that's something you're interested in doing, get in touch with me. Second thing here, There's somebody in your company right now that you need to let go. You do not need to hold on to him any longer. If you know who that is, and you want to talk to one of us about it, I know that any person here on this video screen would be more than happy to have a quick conversation with you about it. But you can't grow if you're holding on to dead weight. Sometimes you just got to let them go. It's the best thing that you can possibly do for them. And finally, number 3, Leanne Koppel is going to be with us Thursday at 4 o'clock. The queen of social media branding is going to be with us Thursday at 4 o'clock. If you are using social media to grow your company, you want to build your culture, be here Thursday at 4 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow in the RCO for live at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody jumping on.
See ya.
Later.
Thank you, Mike.